Alexa, cue the Tyler Alexander YouTube channel.
What's going on, everybody? It is Tyler. I wanted to stop in today because as of recently, I've been working with a lot of first-time home buyers. Some reason, I guess it's just around my age. It's actually a lot of my friends, honestly, we're kind of getting to the age now. I'm 25. We're kind of start getting to purchasing our first homes. Everyone's getting out of college, getting their jobs and stuff like that. So I want to stop in today and give y'all some tips as a first-time home buyer. So in this video, I'll be giving you 5 first-time home buyer tips that I've experienced because I've purchased my first house this year as well, and also that I've relayed on to a lot of other of my clients that I've worked with that are first-time home buyers. So if you are a first-time home buyer, even if you're not, follow along in this video, and we're going to go over the 5 best tips to help you in your first big purchase. Stay tuned. All right, tip number 1, and this is probably the second most important tip on here. It is to save up money. I know in my previous videos that I've posted, I put in there, first-time home buyers, they have the USDA RD loan out there, which is a 0% down payment. That does not mean that you can get into the house with literally zero money. You have closing costs associated with it outside of your down payment, which normally factor in generally 2 to 3%, sometimes more of the sales price, depending on if you're in a flood zone and property taxes and all that added in. So even though you're putting zero money down, you still need money for closing costs. On top of that, you got to understand it is your first house. And I know this may sound very dumb, but you have to furnish the whole house. So you got to start thinking about furniture. You got to start thinking about possible repairs and maintenance. If you get into the house and, maybe the AC goes out down the road, or you want to change flooring, you want to do some updates, you want to paint, all these things cost money. So saving up money is absolutely crucial as a first-time home buyer. Make sure you have those reserves put aside, because the last thing you want to do when you buy your first house is get in it and you drain all your savings just to get into this house, and now you're house poor and you can't afford to do anything you really want to do. So tip number 1, please, please, please save your money. All right, tip number 2 is shop around. And I cannot stress this enough to so many people. I was in the same boat. The first house you go see, you're probably going to fall in love with it and you think that's the only one. God, there's no other houses out there. This is the one I want, But at the end of the day, there always is. There's always better houses out there, and that sounds very cliche to say, but there is. So please shop around. You don't know what you don't like until you go into multiple houses. So if you go in one house, you're like, oh man, I love this is the one, and then you go to another one, you're like, man, I like this one. I'm glad, that first one didn't have what this one has. So you always want to shop around, go into multiple houses, look at multiple, even if you find, 10 houses that you like, and you find 10 houses and you're like, all right, I want to go see all 10 of these, and you compare and contrast which ones you like, the most. I tell a lot of people, and this is not just for first-time home buyers, but when you're looking at a house, you don't want to base everything inside of a house off of if it's outdated or if you need to do updates, if you need to do this and that, because that's always stuff you can change. When you're buying your first house, or when you're purchasing a house if it's not your first one, I tell everyone this, and I live by it. I live by it with my house, and try to get every one of my clients to understand this, is there's only 2 things in a house that you cannot change, and that is the location and the square footage. So those 2 things should be your biggest priority when you were looking for a house. Make sure you find the right location that you want, because you can't pick the house up and move it somewhere else. And also make sure you like the square footage. And if you get into the house and you're like, oh, I love these countertops, and I love, the flooring, I love the lighting in it, but it's 300 square foot smaller than I like, and we're going to be crammed, but I can make it work. Like, that's not what you want to do. You'd rather find a house that's big enough for you in a great location that maybe down the road you need to do some updates to, because you can always update a house. You can't just change the location, and you can't just change the square footage. So that is my second tip, is to please shop around, find the right one you like, and get as much advice, as much tips as you can from professionals like us to ensure that you are making the best decision ever. All right, and now to step number 3 is credit score. So this is something, unfortunately, we weren't really taught a lot in high school. So getting out, you kind of have to learn credit score and stuff on your own there. The higher credit score you have, the lower interest rates you get, and it pretty much gets as simple as that. So you want to have your credit score as high as humanly possible as you can to save you money on, as I said earlier, your closing cost, and also help you on your interest rate. So working on your credit, you can either get with a credit coach, you can get in contact with me, get in contact with a lender, whoever it is. They could possibly set you up and tell you what you need to do to boost your credit, to improve your credit, stuff like that. It's actually a lot easier than you think it is to get your credit score up. And there's also some things like paying off a few debts that may hurt your credit score. So before you make any big decisions like that, if you do decide that you're looking to buy and you're not sure if my credit score suffices, I don't know if I can get approved with my score, I just want to get my score higher before I purchase a house, get with me. We can get you set up with a credit coach, or like I said, we can talk with our lenders. They can tell you what you need to do, what you don't need to do to get that credit score up. Because like I said, the higher the credit score, the lower the interest rate, and that is what we're all shooting for. All right, so on to number 4, and that is to get pre-qualified. So going back to credit scores, so once your credit score is there where you want it, you have your money put aside in your savings account that you need to save up to get into this house, and you have shopped around for houses, and you've kind of gotten an idea of what you like. Now is the time to get pre-approved. So what you will do, you will get with me or whatever other realtor you decide to go with, and you will get in touch with their preferred lenders. Or if you know a lender, you can go out and get one on your own, however you would like to do it. We prefer, if you're working with us, that you work with our lenders, just because the communication is smooth. We know their process, we know their systems. And when that's all in place and we have a good circle of communication, it makes the process so much smoother for you and so much smoother for us and so much smoother for the title company. So we prefer that, but like I said, not mandatory. So you'll get pre-approved. So you'll call a lender up and say, hey, my name is so-and-so, I'm looking to get pre-approved. And they'll say, okay, well, you need to send us XXXX, these documents, and please fill out this application. Most pre-approval applications take as little as 10 to 15 minutes to fill out. It is not a big, long thing to do. And they only ask for a few documents here and there at the beginning, and you start that process. Now that you have that process started, now we really start deep digging into houses. So if you're working with a realtor, you will get with me and we'll say, okay, Tyler, look, I'm with, X lender. Let's go work on finding the house that we want. So I'll get in contact with the lender. We'll start talking. They're looking to be a pre-approved for probably around 220, 230. I'll say, okay, so I'll start finding you houses in that price point, and so on and so forth. We'll kind of go from there. I'm not going to go completely off topic with that, but you need to get pre-approved. Cannot buy a house without getting pre-approved. Simple as that. So that is a huge step in the process, and that goes back to, like I said, your credit score being where it's at, and your down payment assistance money, whatever you have, being put aside for that as well. So that is step number. All right, and on to step number 5, which is in my book, since it's my channel, this is the most important step, and that is to call me. So when you're looking as a first-time home buyer or any home buyer, you want a realtor representing you in this biggest purchase. It is a misconception that a lot of people think. It is completely free for you as a buyer to use me as your realtor. It does not cost you a single dime. I do all your work for you. I schedule your showings. I walk in the properties with you. I do all your paperwork. I go to the inspections. I schedule with the title company for closings. I schedule with the appraisers. I stay in contact with the lenders. I do all that for you so you do not have to worry about it. And I make sure that all the legal documents are correct on your end, because at the end of the day, this is the biggest purchase of your life, and you want a professional to work with you and handle everything for you. Now, obviously, I say I'm handling everything for you, but we're in contact and I'm telling you what you need to do, what you don't need to do. I also negotiate. That's something that, working with a realtor, you have more negotiation power than you do not working with a realtor. So I can negotiate deals better for you. I can negotiate inspections better for you. I can get you more for your money and help you out throughout the entire process on my end, because at the end of the day, that's what I do for a living. So at step number 5, call me. Like I said, I'm biased because it's my channel, but I can say that. So call me up. We'll get everything rolling. Like I said, I got preferred lenders. I got preferred title companies. We have everything in-house. We're ready to roll. We have every system that we need. We're partnered with inspectors, with appraisers, with pressure washing companies, with lawn companies, with moving companies. We have everything all in one that we can get you set up to make the best home buying experience possible. So those are the 5 tips that I have for you as a first-time home buyer. There's many more, but those are kind of my top 5. So if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. And thanks for watching the channel. See you all in the next video.